Hey everybody, welcome back to Boatful Sailing. Thanks for tuning in this week and thanks for watching last week. I am flying solo this week. Canadian Ken is beating feet for the Canadian border. We're electing a new president this week. He's feeling a little skittish. I jest. He just couldn't make it today. But I was up in Deer Isle this morning, Deer Isle, Maine, and I wanted to come to Blue Hill, Maine to check out a really cool boat. So I went over causeways and bridges to get to Weber's Cove Marina to check out a 1981 CSY 33, probably the biggest 33-foot boat you're ever going to step foot on. Now, why this boat? Only 59 of these were made, and they were purpose-built. CSY Yachts are sailing, our CSY company started as a charter company down in the Caribbean, and the owner was sort of a visionary from New Jersey. He was a dentist, Dr. John Van Oost, I believe it was, and he saw the charter industry growing and wanted to get into that gig. And once he was in it, he realized he wanted his own boats in it. He wanted sturdy, well-made, solid boats to handle the rigors of the charter trade. And so he started CSY Boat Building, which was done out of Tampa, Florida, right next door to Irwin Yachts. In fact, Ted Irwin was very influential in some of the designs of these boats. But long story short, John Van Oost was a visionary too in the charter leaseback program, where people could buy a boat and charter it to help offset the cost of ownership. So a really neat story, but unfortunately they went out of business in the early 80s due primarily to the rising cost of production of these boats. And these boats are unique for that time, really, because they're solid fiberglass. And when I say solid fiberglass, they're solid fiberglass from stem to stern, from keel to coach roof. No coring anywhere on this boat. So I'm really excited to show it to you. She's listed at 28.5, and her name is Destiny. And I'll get to that a little later. But she's up here. She is ready to go. She's a bit of a work in progress, so she's not perfect, but she's priced, in my opinion, accordingly. And you could take this boat now and go sailing, or you could spend some time doing a little work on her to really get her to shine. But let's go take a look. All right, we're going to start right here in the cockpit because it's fantastic. It's huge. First thing you're going to notice is you've got a Hydrovane self-steering system on the back here, which has been installed recently. That does come with the boat. Here is your seat for your captain, and it has a board over it here which you can remove so you can have that angled seat there. But this cockpit is ginormous, and that's not hyperbole. It is literally the biggest cockpit I've ever seen on a boat this size, or for most boats that matter. But nice helm station here. This does work. The auto helm does work. It's just not currently hooked up. You've got a bracket to hold an iPad that mirrors your Garmin GPS from down below. Engine controls. The owner says he does want to replace this box. It's a little funky, but look at the size of those deep combings. Unbelievable. Nice stainless push pit, and then you have a nice solar frame here that holds more than 500 watts of solar panels up here. It's a solar tower. And you've got ship-to-shore power. You've got your control for your windlass up and down. And coming around, you can see on the floor, which could use some paint, that is a hatch to get to your universal diesel engine, which we'll look at later, which we approximate has about 2,000 hours on it. Nice big lazarettes for storage. And I'm just going to remark that this boat has not been cleaned and put away for the winter, so you're seeing some growth and whatnot that will be scrubbed off. But more storage in this port lazarette. And nice big drains. You've got your emergency tiller port there, and you've got your gusher pump. And these two cutouts you see on the transom were probably for speakers, is my guess. Big, nice self-tailing 42 Lumar winches on port and starboard, your primaries. You've got your engine instrument cluster here, depth meter, speed, and a port down into your galley, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But this cockpit, I'm going to sit down and show you the depth of these combings. Look at that. Hits you sort of up by your shoulder blades, and it's just so secure. So if you had a family or you're solo sailing and doing some cruising, you're going to feel very, very secure in this cockpit. I love it. Now, like I said, this boat was purpose-built for cruising. It's not a racer. It is definitely a cruiser. So if you have a small family or you want a solo cruise, this boat is made for you. If you're into racing and you want to do some around the can racing or distance racing, this boat is not for you. Purpose built. So if your intended use is cruising, take a close look at this boat. I think it's a great deal. I also want to note that she has this hard Dodger that was made by the current owner. It's aluminum frame with PVC. This is plastic, not wood. Could use a little paint and a clean, but you may opt to keep that or you may opt to take it off. But I think it's pretty cool and pretty handy. He was going to put a window up front to get a little wind blockage, but he hasn't gotten to that yet, but that is a possibility. And looking down your side decks, you can see nice stainless steel stanchions, nice bulwarks, and I will note that the lifelines are coated plastic, and I would recommend changing those out for stainless steel. But let's go up on deck and take a look on the bow. I don't know about you guys, but I love going into boat yards and checking everything out. I mean, this boat yard is cheek to jowl with some cool boats. There's the water right there, and we've got boats all around us. We got Benettos, we have Catalinas, we have Cape Dories. That's a pretty Cape Dory right there. Wow. But here we are up on the bow of the CSY 33, and you're going to notice something. If you watched our video on the North Sea 27, it had a very similar forepeak like this, where there's a step down into it, and you've got these huge scuppers here to release any water that comes on board. And it's a great place to sit because you have this nice little ledge here. You can drop your feet down. There's your windlass, and here's your roller furling and your 25-pound CQR. Nice pulpit, all looks plumb and straight. But that windlass, I believe he has 80 feet of chain, and you can control that from the cockpit like we just saw. And what I'm holding here is your cutter rig. So she is a cutter rigged boat. Looking up at the mast, you've got radar, Garmin HD, which overlays on your chart plotter down below, which I'll show you. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 4 opening hatches on deck. So the ventilation on this boat is going to be extraordinary. But again, solid fiberglass decks here, no coring. So your cap rail here along your tow rail, all of that could use a little love and attention. It could be sanded down and varnished or left to go natural, but all of these turnbuckles look in good shape. We don't know the age of the rigging, but I am not noticing any corrosion whatsoever. And the turnbuckles back here look newer. Got a little moss on there, but nothing rusting. And we'll look for the chain plates when we're down below, but all of this looks fantastic. Apparently the sail inventory is pretty robust, a couple of mains, and you've got a staysail, Genoa, and I believe you have a cruising parachute chute with a sock. But I love this. Nice wide side decks. This bow is, what a great place to hang out. Again, this boat is 33 feet. Really, really sizable. We'll get into her dimensions a little later, but I really love it. And then another thing that was added to this boat by the current owner are steps. These foldable steps, collapsible steps. And you can get up over the first set of spreaders, a little beyond that, up to your foredeck light. And you do have lights on your spreaders. So pretty cool. And really, he was outfitting the boat to do a lot of cruising. So it is ready to go and can go just about anywhere. Very, very heavy displacement boat, rugged and secure and safe to hang out in for sure. All right, so here we are coming back into the cockpit. And I'm gonna look around again at your side decks. I mean, that's pretty nice. No toe stubbers except when you get up to your fair leads for the staysail. But your primary fair leads for your jib are back here on the outside tow rail, which is very nice. Love it. All right, let's go below. Well, if my little Canadian friend were here, he'd be giving me a hard time about whether or not I could fit down the companionway. He'd say things like, hey, is that big enough for you? Or, hey, do you think you can fit down in there? Well, let me show you this. This is a nice big companionway, easy access, nice little bridge deck there, but then look at this. I can even go down backward. Woo! How's that move? This is cool. Come check it out. All right, so here we go. We are down in the main cabin of the CSY 33. It is a little bit like a pilot house, but you'll note that the helm is not down here, which I prefer. I like to be out in the wind and the elements, and this is a really lovely living space. All the great deadlight ports, the opening hatches, you get tons of light in here, and as you've noted, it's a bit of a gray day, and we still get some nice light. So the headroom is copious, to say the least, okay? So even the tallest of the tall are gonna have plenty of room down here. That's gotta be 7 feet anyway. And obviously it doesn't run the full length of the boat, but at least in the main salon, plenty of room, particularly in the galley. So check this out. There's that port out into the cockpit. And here is your gimballed LP stove. And here is your ice box. Now this does have refrigeration and a freezer. So I believe, so here's your freezer on this side, on the outside on port, and on the inside is your refrigeration. And that is all new. It's got a new compressor and obviously some new insulation in there. So that has all been updated. And I believe the compressor is under here, which is under all this stuff, so we're not going to get in there. But double sink here, nice center line, which is fantastic. And you've got nice storage above your sink here for pots and pans and cups and whatnot. And you've got a hand pump and a pressurized system. And it looks like, I don't know what this is. Oh, a garbage can. Isn't that nice? I love that. And then more storage behind here for dry goods, cups, plates, what have you. Now, speaking of cruising, this boat holds 110 gallons of water, okay? And approximately, I think it's 62 gallons of diesel in 2 separate tanks. You got 25 on one on starboard under here, and then 37 gallons of diesel over there, plus 110 gallons of water, I believe, under the cabin sole here. Here is your nav station. Now, again, I apologize. This boat has not been cleaned up. It was short notice for me to come here and check it out, but it's in the process of being pinked out, as you can see. But nice nav station facing aft, which is key. Here's your Garmin chart plotter that is on a swinging arm that does go out, but like I said, you can mirror it to an iPad and have that up at the helm station here. An older VHF does not have AIS, but again, it has over 500 watts of solar. I believe this folds down so you can check out all your wiring, which is really nice. Nice access, really easily opened, by the way. Storage behind here and up here forward, and probably lots more storage behind your cushions here. Now, sleeping arrangements on this boat. There was a table in here, and that was removed because it sort of just got in the way. But you can sleep 1, 2, 3, 4. So for a 33-foot boat, you can't sleep a ton of people. There's no quarter berth, but you can sleep enough people. Like I said, great for a couple or a small family, but nice and airy down here. And the ventilation is fantastic. I can feel little breezes coming through here. You've got mosquito screens, which are in place, even though we don't have mosquitoes anymore. So then there's a little step down. So mind your step. It's a keel step mast coming down into your V-berth. There was a little water damage here from an episode when he was delivering the boat back from where he bought it in, I think it was New Jersey. And that's a long story, which we're not going to get into, but I'll give you the basis of it. But they had a cut pipe for their outline for their bilge pump, and the boat flooded a little bit when they were coming back, and they had to get some assistance. But this did have some sort of veneer wood on it, which was sort of delaminating, and he took it all out. So this would be brightened up with some paint or some sort of adhesive siding that you can put on there. But here are parts of your Hydrovane right there and here, which is great. This piece, the centerpiece, comes out, but nice big V-berth, plenty of room up here and plenty of ventilation. You've got 1, 2, 3 opening ports plus the hatch. They're all bronze. Pretty nice. So again, not perfect, needs a little work, but to brighten up this V-berth, you could just paint that or find some other clever way to make that look nice. Not a big deal. Now the head also has a hatch, which is fantastic, plus a port, and it does have a shower and sink and a composting toilet. That, like we've said before, are becoming more and more popular, and I think there's a real bonus to having that, because you don't have to deal with a black water tank and that sort of thing and getting it pumped out. You can just deal with it, and apparently these are really easy to deal with. Oh, and there's a nice mirror in here too. This is nice in here. Let's see if the door closes okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. Plenty of room in here. Plenty of room, and you can have a shower, everything, and it does drain directly into the bilge. It doesn't have its own sump, which is not necessarily a great thing, but it's certainly workable. All right, let's continue on. All right, while we're down here, let's look for some chain plates on this, because I saw that they go through the tow rail and it made me a little anxious about accessibility. But check this out. Chain plate right there. Let me turn the light on, and it looks fantastic. Comes down here to a plate. All of that looks great. That is nice. And here is a forward one. All this looks great. I mean, talk about accessibility. That's pretty nice. And here is port side. There's one of your chain plates. And here is another. So all of that, wow, that's pretty great. I like that a lot. Nice to see. All right, let's take a look at the bilge. So just have to pull this carpet aside, and I think this just pops up. Let's see if we can see that in here. Oh yeah, look at that. So that is one deep bilge. There's a little water in there. She just came out of the water the other day, so and it's been raining and the boat's not put away yet, but there you have it. Boy, that is down there. You wouldn't want to fall down in there. Hiding place for Ken though, when he needs to get away from the authorities. But here you go. I love this down below. Even on a rainy gray day, it feels bright and happy down here, and I approve. I really like it. And yeah, it needs a deep clean and a scrub. Big deal. 28.5, you could be cruising down the islands tomorrow on this boat. Let's go take a look at the engine. All right, so the first way to access your engine compartment is through the typical old companionway steps. These just slide away, which is really nice, and exposes the engine here. And what you're going to notice immediately is that she's a V-drive. So that is what you're looking at there, is the transmission, and then the engine is up under there, which we'll show you from the cockpit. But all of this looks great. Nice, clean motor mounts, easily accessible. Apparently 2,000 hours on this engine, like we mentioned, and runs like a top. Nice bronze seatcock, and you've got a Raycor fuel filter. So all this looks serviceable and easy to access. Let's go look at the other access point. I'm interested to see that. All right, so here's the hatch in the cockpit. Open that up. Wow, that is some really nice engine access. I mean, all of this is so accessible. In fact, you can climb down there and work on the engine from down there. But all this looks great, easy to get to. I'd clean all this out, but by and large, easy peasy. Love it. All right, here we are down on the ground. I'm going to take a look at the hull and the keel and the top sides of this CSY 33. Look at this. She is big. That is a rugged, sturdy boat. Nice little sort of clipper bow on here. Robert did paint this boat, so that's not the original gel coat, but it looks like he did a really nice job. Looks like it's got a nice shine to it, and nice little boot stripe, black underbody paint here, and basically a shoal draft keel, nice long keel, Nice, that's going to give you nice steerage underway. It's going to shoot you in a nice straight line. And then working your way back, you've got a 3-bladed prop. And not in an aperture, but it is protected a bit. And your rudder is skeg mounted, which is nice. So your rudder is protected. And that looks very sturdy as well. So working our way back to the transom. Her name is Destiny. There's your Hydrovane. Her name is Destiny because Robert tried to buy this boat not once, but twice. He lost it the first time, almost lost it the second time, but was able to secure the sale, and hence the name. He really wanted this boat. It's a fun story. So if you're interested in this boat and you contact him, he'll tell you the story. And like I said, he's reluctant to part with this boat, but he needs to. And I just think with a little love and attention and some elbow grease, you could get this boat in tip-top shape. And basically, she's ready to go now. There's nothing that needs to be done. So let's just finish walking around the port side here. Try not to fall, but I think this boat is cool. And like I said, 33 feet. Wow, she's big. You can see the nice scuppers up there for the bow. When you ship any sea up there, it's going to pour right up there. And these nice ports along the top side. It's really cool. Solid rub rail there. Really, really, really great. Another look at that clipper bow. She's ready to go. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up. I love this boat. The seller, Robert, is a reluctant seller. They have to sell it for personal reasons, and it's a best reasonable offer, so the list price is $28,500 again, and I think it's worth it. Like I said in the beginning of the show, she is solid fiberglass from stem to stern, keel to coach roof, no coring, no soft decks to worry about. Everything mechanically is sound. The engine runs beautifully, and you got a nice complement of sails on this boat. And you know, for 33 feet, she's just the biggest 33-foot boat you're ever going to see. 33 feet on overall, 25 in the water, 11 feet at the beam, max draft of 5 feet. She's an ultra heavy displacement boat at 437, a reasonably stiff boat at 30, and her comfort ratio is like nearly 36, I think. So she's a nice, comfortable boat. And her capsizing screening, in case you're going offshore and worried about rolling this thing, is 1.78 or thereabouts. So she's going to come back up. It is a purpose-built boat, as we discussed, and if you're into cruising, this boat is worth a really, really close look. You got the Hydrovane, you got the refrigeration, you got the Garmin GPS chart plotter, you've got a full complement of sails, you've got a lot of water, holds 110 gallons, a lot of diesel, holds 62. What's not to like? She needs a scrub. She's not perfect. She needs some bright work done. Perfect. Not hard to do. Anybody can do that. So I encourage you to take a close look at this boat. I really appreciate you coming along for the ride today. I miss Canadian Ken. I wish you could see this one, but please continue to support us by clicking like, please share, and please keep tuning in. We really appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next time.